Howdy and welcome to another episode of Ignition. Since it debuted, the Cayman has caused nothing but agita in the hearts and minds of Porsche fans because it's mid-engine and therefore, in theory, it could be better than the 911. But evil Porsche, so the purists say, they keep the Cayman down by not giving it enough power because they want to protect the almighty and much more profitable 911. However, this is the Cayman GTS, and with 340 horsepower, it produces just 10 fewer than the 911 Carrera. Moreover, it weighs hundreds of pounds less. So, is the Cayman GTS better than a Porsche 911? With all that power, is it even good for a Cayman? There is precisely one way to find out. Launching the Uber Cayman is pretty straightforward. Make sure it's in Sport Plus to get the quickest possible throttle response, build the revs up to 4,000 RPM, and then sidestep the clutch. Zero to 60 happens in 4.4 seconds. The Cayman GTS then completes the quarter mile in 12.8 seconds at 111.8 miles per hour. 60 to 0 braking takes place on a pretty good 100 feet. Handling is where the Cayman GTS really shines. The GTS can sprint around our figure 8 in 23.8 seconds. Quite an elite time. And its max lateral acceleration is 1.04 Gs. Base 911 takes 24 seconds flat to run the figure 8, meaning the Cayman GTS is quicker. In fact, the Cayman GTS is quicker than any 911 we've ever tested, save for the GT3 and turbo models. This is pretty good for a Cayman. This is pretty good for any car, actually. I mean, I'll say this about Caymans and Boxsters too. The steering is really what separates them from mortal cars. You jump out of something, say, oh, I don't know, a Jaguar Coupe R, and you get into this, and you just have so much steering and so little understeer, and also, unless you're really going nuts, so little oversteer. Balance. What makes a Cayman GTS, or for that matter, any Porsche GTS? Well, the basic recipe is you take your S model and you mix in the most popular options, and you charge less for that car than you would for the base car with all the options. Add to that a couple exterior tweaks, you lower the suspension, you mix in a little bit more power, and voila, that's a GTS. Wow. Fun car. Sports cars are fun cars, and this is a great sports car. Horsepower is up 15, count them, 15 ponies, from 325 over the Cayman S to 340 in this car. Torque is up marginally by 7 pound-feet to an even 280. But as Anthony, my cameraman, pointed out, this is the punchiest 280 pound-feet of torque I've ever felt. When you get a Porsche GTS, you get some special stuff on the exterior. In the case of the Cayman, you get larger and blacked out front air intakes. You get frosted headlights and taillights. And you get blacked out exhaust tips. So even though the base price of this car is about $75,000, this particular Cayman GTS showed up with $20,000 worth of options, including $8,700 in interior options. Apparently, $5,000 of those dollars go towards the seats, while another $3,700 goes towards something called the GTS interior package. such a fun car. Yeah, this is a real Miata road. And what I mean by that is it's really tight and really twisty. Huge horsepower cars don't do so well here. But something like this Cayman GTS, I mean, it's so at home, this might as well be Zuffenhausen. I said this was pretty good for a Cayman. I'm gonna go a step further and say this is pretty great for a Cayman. The original Cayman, it blew me away. I couldn't believe how sweet that car handled. It was small, it was nimble, it was light. And they came out with Gen 2 here, and it was a little bit bigger, it wasn't a lot more powerful, and it just sort of didn't do it for me. I think you could clearly make the case that the 911 was a much better car. This is sort of what the Cayman's been hoping to be since day one. It's just fabulous. You know, it's like, I don't know, it's like a baby Ferrari 458 Italia, you know, it's just, yes, it's not as crazy fast or as crazy sing-songy, but man, it just does everything you want it to do, and it does it so elegantly. Road holding, the noise, I mean everything, the power. It's just an absolutely incredible car. In conclusion, there's not a lot of mid-engine cars that are near the price range of the Cayman GTS. I think it's better than the obvious competitor, the Alfa Romeo 4C. I'm not really sure if Lotus is still in business, but I would take half of the Cayman GTS over an Evora any day of the week. Back to the initial question. Is the Cayman GTS a better car than the Porsche 911? That's almost an impossible question to answer without having both cars here side by side. For now, I will cop out and say the answer is both yes and no. And this is going to make one hell of a future head-to-head. What a great machine though, huh? I know. It's just so it's just so on top of the road. You know, and you're just not sitting around waiting for anything. Well, it's also got these cool seat belts. I like this with the kind of contrast colors. Well, yeah, I was gonna say it's pretty easy to make the call that this is, you know, the greatest Cayman of all time.
One more time. And again. All right, you're good.
Howdy. This is the Cayman GTS, and with 340 horsepower, it produces just 10 fewer than the 911.